Let's switch companies. Let's go to AEW.
Yeah.
AEW World Championship.
Wardlow.
You think Wardlow's going to be the one to dethrone MJF? Yeah. It makes sense.
It makes sense.
But I've got to be honest, I think it's Kingston. I think Eddie Kingston.
I have seen people say Kingston, but I just haven't bought Kingston in the last year, really.
Well, that's again because he's another one that just doesn't get featured.
No.
They're
more bothered about giving him like his dream matches from people in Japan than they have like pushing him doing major stories.
But can you imagine doing a major feud with MJF for the world title? That's money.
It is.
That's money on the mic. You could build that for weeks and weeks and weeks of just them talking. They wouldn't even need to touch each other. It'd be one of those. I reckon, honestly, it'd be up there with Punk and MJF. That's how good it'd be. And that was Feud of the Year last year for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. I believe that. But I think Eddie Kingston wins the world title. The thing is, I want to see Eddie win the world title. I'm a sucker for the underdog story. But like not a boring kind of like cookie cutter underdog who doesn't come across as a real underdog. Like Eddie Kingston comes across real.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's what I like about him.
Yeah, and I know that they're very, they are similar and they're also kind of opposites in a lot of different ways. But one person I can't help but kind of draw some parallels to is Mick Foley. In a weird way.
Yeah, I can see that.
See what I mean? Like not in terms of like the style.
But he hasn't got a kiss. He can't cane Dewey.
That's no one should be caning poor Dewey. But
well, Vince did.
I just think that I think with Kingston, he's got that kind of that realism that again, like he's one of everybody else, isn't he? In terms of like, and I don't again like he's listen to him speak about certain things. I think he's had a real tough, hard upbringing, so we can't all say that, but he's still a real he's a real person that you'd meet in a street. He's a guy that was like he's down on his luck before he even went into AEW. Was thinking about selling I think he was in the process. He was going to sell his wrestling boots and stuff, and it's like, now look at him.
Yeah, but
and I genuinely I'd love to see Eddie Kingston with a world title win, and to be the guy that takes MJF out, and MJF again, whose character is so diverse, is so there's so much going on with the MJF persona underneath it all. I know he's like this cocky, shitty little heel, and he comes out and disses the crowd and blah blah blah. But like MJF's so layered, and he's like the polar opposite of like what the real person is. Like he's not one of us.
No.
And with Kingston, he's got that he's one of us things. And it's believable because like Kingston won't just sucker up to a crowd either. He's not going to be like his baby face. It's like everything for the crowd. If the crowd's doing something, he'll tell the crowd to shut up, even if he's baby face. He'll be like, no, shut up for a minute. Like because that's real. Like even the people that some of the people that you like most in this world, love most in this world, can tell you to shut up. You don't then think, oh, you're a heel. You know what I mean? Like Kingston's he's got something there, man. And I'd love to see him be the one to dethrone MJF.
I'd buy it if it wasn't the fact that, like I say, he's felt like he's not done much. But that doesn't mean that it can't happen.
Yeah, but we're only on January 6th.
Yes.
We've got the whole year ahead.
We've got the whole year
in hand. Yeah.
But
you're saying Wardlow.
Yeah, I just feel like it's like my problem with wrestling in general. Like it always feels like there's 3 people that feud with each other for the whole year, and it feels like if you were to step away from wrestling for a few years and came back now, most of it would be the same. Really. New Japan's the worst because they have the trouble with like not bringing in people from like America before like pre-pandemic, and then after it's fine again. Well,
but then you see, look, we could be in for a really good year now with New Japan because obviously, as we know, Wrestle Kingdom 17, the first day of it at least is in the books, and it was so refreshing because I've enjoyed that show so much. We've got the review of that coming next week on the podcast. But the real Forbidden Door, as you said.
Yeah, it is.
But they did bring so many people in this time. There's a lot more noise from the crowd.
But
it was so refreshing.
Carl Anderson's not going to be on the next show because he's WWE contracted now.
No, of course, but
Omega, we don't really know what's going to happen with that.
No. But as we say, we'll review that one next week.